Okay, so this is the app device I'm using for the Bluetooth connection on my cell phone. Okay, once you open it, you have to select from the previously paired devices, then select one of the modes that you see on the screen. Now, if you choose a controller, this is what's going to show up. If you move to the top left, the top right corner, you'll see the definitions mark, and you'll be shown the screen where you input, you choose the letters you want the cell phone app to send to your Bluetooth. Now, if you want the terminal mode, you just simply go back to the screen and select the terminal mode, and this will show up on your screen. As you can see, I already have the time being displayed on the screenshot, just like I did on the sketch. This helps me to use the same alarm LED to toggle it on and off and still be activated by the alarm without one interfering with the other. Now, the other change that I make is all the way down here, is if I press the Q on the terminal mode over here, I will activate the full signal, which is a flashing alarm LED over here, and the buzzer. I use this for loop, as you can see, and it'll flash and sound for 10 times if I press the letter Q. And I'll let you see. Now let's put it in the water. Now let me speak about something else first. As the time of me making this video, I already put the boat in the water, and already it had a problem. You'll see it later in the video. But one thing, the test, it was a test, and it was good for several things. It taught me a lot of things, and one of the things that taught me is that actually this block, the alarm, works perfectly well, because although the boat was submerged, the alarm LED light was on the whole time until I displugged it from the battery. So it's working. So while I was editing, I forgot to tell you about this case over here, this block, which is the block that tells me the time if I ask for it by inputting the letter T, the small t. Now, how do I do that? I have two variables, minutes and hours. I divide the current time, which is the variable you saw in the beginning, which is uploaded every time the loop happens. I divide it by 60,000, which gives me the minutes, and I divide then that variable by 60, which gives me the hours. Then I go inside this if and else block, which if the hours, the variable hours, is less than 1, it'll skip this if condition and simply print onto the cell phone screen the amount of, I'm sorry, if it's less than 1 exactly, it'll stay in this block and it'll simply print onto the cell phone screen the amount of minutes that have passed. Now, if the variable hours is above 1, it'll skip this condition and go to the else and print out the number of hours that it's been on. Now, I did forget to reference before that these last, as you can see here in this comments, that the commands below here have to all be done with inside the serial terminal mode. The ones up here are for the command mode, which I will show you or have shown you already pictures of in this video. So let's see this under different conditions of water, like running water. So this is the place I decided to make a tougher test to the boat. It's a river next to my house, and it separates into a smaller branch, as you can see right here, where I thought the current was not as strong as it proved out to be. Or maybe the boat is just not equipped to deal with moving waters. Now, as soon as I put the boat inside the water, and it touches, and it gets inside the moving water, it gets dragged right away. The propellers and the rudder are useless against the currents. The boat gets trapped into branches, and it holds on for a while, even though the water is hitting it on the side. I lost the connection via Bluetooth to the boat, and I go find a stick to see if I can unstrap it. Now I keep on moving the water with small waves that hit the boat and seem to move a little bit, but they fail to untrap it from the branch. As soon as I get a bigger stick and I hit it, as soon as I touch the boat and water enters, it immediately sinks, which teaches me a lot of things. First, that this boat is useless in moving waters, and the boat will sink very quickly as soon as water starts entering it. It also taught me that the circuit was on while it was submerged underwater, and the alarm light LED was on until I finally unplugged the battery from the system. Overall, very useful test. I learned a lot, and there's some modifications that I can do to improve these problems from happening again, or avoid the problems from happening again. Now, the last but best thing I've learned from this test was that this boat is one tough nut to crack. As you can see, although it was submerged in water, I let it dry for a little bit and it still turns on. Now the alarm LED is permanently on because obviously the flood sensor is detecting water. Now the last thing I'm gonna check before I end this episode is if I'm able to connect it with my cell phone, or in other words, if my XP is still working. Now let's see if we can get a connection. It's trying to get it. Sometimes it's hard for it to connect at once. Okay, it's connected now. I'm going to make sure the Arduino is away from the propellers, and I'm going to try turning them on as a test to see if everything is working. And yep, the propellers are still going on. I'm going to turn up top speed to let the motor dry inside a little bit, and let me try the buzzer. Yep, the buzzer is still working. Now let me see, the servo is also working. Everything is working. Oh, I turned off the propellers by mistake. Everything apparently is working fine. Yep. Everything is working fine. Now all I'm going to do is let it dry a little bit more and perform some upgrades, probably some styrofoam alongside the sides of the boat so that it doesn't sink so easily. And I have to re-glue the rudder on the top part here because it became loose. It's still a little bit tight because of the friction with the glue, but it's unglued. So other than that, the boat worked fine. It managed to overcome this difficulty pretty well, and it survived. So overall, great test. So see you next episode, and thank you for watching.